Hey, Pointe Church, with all the racial tension in our nation that we've all been experiencing, I've found that many white people, they simply don't know what to say to those in our black community. So I thought I'd do a segment today called How to Have a Conversation with a Black Person. Is that simple or what? Sometimes it's simple that we need. With me today is one of Lisa and I's friends, Aaron Boone. Aaron, his wife, Arvis, and their little girl, beautiful little girl, Gabrielle. They've been attending weekly at the Point now for about 6 years. And every week, Aaron and his family, they always make a deliberate attempt to connect with Lisa and I. And we make a deliberate attempt to connect with them. And in fact, Aaron, he could do a segment on how to have a conversation with a pastor because he's fantastic about developing relationships. Church, I'm excited for you to hear from Aaron today on this topic. Hey Aaron, we could spend hours on this topic of racial tension because the subject matter deserves it. I mean, it's been a problem as long as America's been America. It's really been a challenge in our nation. I want us to step back and think about one of the most foundational parts of any relationship, and that's communication. Because how in the world can we resolve these issues if we can't even talk to each other? And so I just wanted to do a segment with you on how do white people talk to black people? I mean, here's the thing. Sometimes we don't even know what to call you. We don't know whether to call you African American or to call you black or what's offensive. And so we want to talk to you, we want to have these conversations, but we don't even know how to get started. We don't know what to say. We're afraid we're going to say something wrong. So how do we initiate those conversations? What do we call you first?
Honestly, that's a tricky question because some black people like to be called different things. So some of us like to be called black. Some of us like to be called African American. Some of us don't like to be called anything.
Yeah.
Just talk to us as people. The term colored is still there, which is crazy. And then also, some people respond negatively to people of color. Those two things are kind of touchy with some people. And to be honest, I don't even have the answer, to that one. I definitely wouldn't say colored. That's
just stay away. Don't say the coloreds or the people of color.
Yeah, it's just
give them a specific color. Black is okay.
Right.
Most of the time.
Right.
Most people.
And you can use both, to be safe.
Yeah.
You could say, black or African American. Or if you're talking to somebody you don't even know, you can say, or whatever you prefer to be called. But most of the time, that doesn't even need to come up. My relationship with you, as far as how we started, you just came pure, and that was good enough for me. So I think that should be the start of any.
What does that mean?
Coming pure, with your heart right. Willing to connect, wanting to connect. Wanting to understand. A lot of people, they don't even want to engage because they're not willing to try to attempt to understand. So they come in with no empathy. They come in with no compassion. They come in just wanting to be heard or be seen. So there's no connection in that.
Now, is it the same? Because I know I talk to other friends that are white, and they're nervous about this whole topic. They're nervous of what to say. Is it the same in the black community where maybe there's this, I'm not sure what to say to a white person, or is it more in the Caucasian side?
I mean, I think it may be more so on the Caucasian side. A lot of that has to do with just being the vast majority, and then us being the vast minority. Yeah. And sometimes we don't I don't know what to call white people. Do I call them white, Caucasian? Hispanic people. Do I call them Hispanic? Do I call them, Mexican? Sometimes you don't really know.
Right. And I think sometimes, and if you're Caucasian watching this, this is the case. There are so many loaded phrases. It's sometimes we go into a conversation knowing I don't want to trip up and say something that's offensive. I don't want to trip up and say something, that's a part of this whole cancel culture thing. And so we have this fear. And often that fear keeps us from even initiating the conversation, right? Even starting it.
Right.
What are some things that us white people say that make black people just like eye roll? You know, like, again.
To be honest, that's another one, a tricky one. Because I can only speak for myself.
Sure.
Because just as how can I put it? Just as different as I am, it's as different as we are. Same thing.
Right.
Vice versa on the other side. So everybody has individual quirks and stuff that they don't like, and then that same quirk may not bother this person at all.
Right.
And they could be the same race. I just tell people, come in being willing to be corrected. Come humble. So if you really want to connect, you'll be able to humble yourself when somebody corrects you and tells you basically, hey, I don't feel comfortable with that phrase or whatever. So, and then you can kind of continue with the conversation as far as, you know what, I'm sorry, I apologize, but can I ask you why? Just so I can understand.
Yeah.
And I think the person would accept that and receive that, because they're like, wow, they really want to know why this bothers me. So I think that's the key to any relationship, whether it's a racial relationship or a male-female, relationship.
That's so good. That's so rich that you even step back a further bit and go, hey, I want this relationship to work, and I know I'm going to make some mistakes. So when I make them, instead of going away and rolling your eyes and telling your friends what an idiot I am, because that's my big fear, that I'm going to be an idiot, right? Just, could you correct me? I mean, if we were to say, like, hey, could you point out where I'm misstepping? Right. But I do want us to pin down a little bit on this question, because there are some common things, some common pitfalls that us white folks were just stepping into.
See color.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I remember like 6 years ago, like I come from California, like it's racially diverse. I went to a racially diverse high school. And so I was trying to help you know my background, and I said, well, Aaron, I'm colorblind. And you were very gracious to me. What did you tell me back then?
I said something to the effect of, well, you really want to see color. I mean, we all see color.
Yeah.
And I forgot how I corrected you.
No, that's exactly what you did. Because I remember it, because I thought, oh man, I've always thought I was kind of that way. And I think you said it like this. You said, there's incredible benefits in each colors. And color's not a thing that we want to be blind to. It's one thing that we want to be wide open to.
Right.
Because of all the uniqueness that God's made us that way.
Right. You want to be able to see color and appreciate the differences.
Yeah, that's exactly how you said it.
And I think it's almost offensive to Jesus if someone said, I don't see color, because that's part of his creation.
Yeah.
He made each one of us unique. He made each one of us different, gifted, of different colors, shapes, sizes. So he wants you to see his entire creation in detail. And that shows your appreciation of what he made.
What's another one of those kind of verbal traps that we just tend as Caucasian people to keep falling into over and over again?
Any kind of phraseology to combat what's initially said.
I know where you're going with this.
So,
yeah,
obviously the one, Black Lives Matter,
right?
That was made up organically.
Yeah.
I believe in its origin it was pure.
Sure.
Because it's the phrase by itself is.
Yeah, everybody should agree with that.
Right, it's pure.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's at probably the lowest common denominator. It's a low on the scale, because really black people should not only matter, but they should be appreciated and valued.
Yeah.
So mattering is like way down here.
Yeah.
When you can't even get that, or when people.
And I know what you're going to say. What do we say? We say, well, all lives matter.
Right.
Well, that's ridiculous.
And it's like, I'm part of the all. Like, we're part of the all. And so that's a bad rebuttal.
Yeah.
It's a disrespectful, devaluing rebuttal.
I do want to speak to my Caucasian friends. When somebody says Black Lives Matter and we respond with all lives matter, can you imagine saying that like in a cancer slogan? Somebody says lung cancer matters, and you would respond, well, all cancer matters.
Right.
I mean, that's rebuttal terminology. That's getting into an argument instead of saying, look, of course you matter. And we don't want to, if you want a relationship at least,
right.
And that's the goal, that's what we've been talking about, is this, how do you form communication that establishes a relationship? If we want a relationship, you don't start relationships with arguments.
No.
Not good ones anyways.
No, it's same like if my wife says, or my daughter says, you know, I love you. And I said, well, I love everybody. I mean, it's like,
yeah, you ain't getting away with that with Arvis.
Like, no,
I'm not getting away with that with Lisa.
No.
That's not good. So, Aaron, sometimes like we're walking away from a conversation, you know, we just had with a black person, and we're thinking to ourselves, that went great. I can think of some of the things that I've done in conversations, you know, where I feel like that went well, but the reality is I should really be asking a different question. I should be asking, when you walk away from a conversation with a white person, what makes you say that was a great conversation?
The first thing is, you know, did we connect?
Yeah.
Like, do I feel like we connected? Two, I would say, did I feel equally valued in the conversation? I think that's just as much as on me as it is on them.
Sure.
And then for me personally, like with my personality, was I able to plant a seed? And do I think it took root? So those are the three things I look for, you know, almost honestly after any conversation, but in particular with
So
white.
pretty much the normal things that we would apply to any conversation, you're thinking, yeah, did that conversation go well? And it's not one where we're trying to make you think that we've got all this experience with black, you know, communities and that we're experts about it, and so you can trust us. No, it's just about, hey, did he value me?
Yeah.
Did she value me?
And be honest, I'm glad you brought that up, because for me that's a turnoff. For most black people, that's a turnoff. I don't like when people bring accolades and titles to the door. I like it when people leave that outside and come sit to the table like we're two equal human beings that God made. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's true of all of us, isn't it? We're not looking for people to tell us how important they are and how much they know. We want to know how much they care.
Right.
We want to feel that they value us as a person.
Right.
You know, knowing what to say to an African American person is important, because we don't want to trip up ourselves. But really, the best part of communication is the listening part, and it's actually the hardest part of communication. Is really hearing what the other person has to say and acknowledging that. What are some of the things right now that, as a whole, the black community is trying to say to the white community that we ought to be really tuned in and listening about?
You know, that we are extremely important, as are you.
Yeah.
You know, we want to be seen in the same light of value, you know, as any other race.
Hey, aren't you glad Aaron is a part of the Pointe Church? And I would encourage you, have a conversation with he and Arvis and Gabrielle. Have a conversation with folks who don't have the same skin color as you do. And if you don't have any friends who don't look like you, you're going to be way behind in heaven, because heaven's going to be full of the entire spectrum. Jesus didn't just come for one race, he came for all of us. And we're going to get to enjoy each other's company for all eternity in heaven. And so I would encourage you, you know, let's get to know each other. And really, that starts with a conversation.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I would love for you to go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. We want to make sure that we're staying connected with you and that you're staying connected with us. We go live every Sunday at 9, 10:15, and 11:30. So again, go ahead, like and subscribe to stay connected. I'll see you soon.